Well, hospitals across the country are dealing with an early spike in respiratory illnesses among children. For example, Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. is nearing capacity, in part because of all these infections. Some of them can cause pretty severe symptoms, too. WMAR2 News' Abby Isaacs joins us now with what parents need to know, and also, Abby, why we're seeing such a spike in cases.
Yeah, Megan, it's really a combination of two factors. Now, RSV usually peaks between November and March, but doctors say cases started in the spring and they've just continued. Now, that coupled with weakened immunity after the pandemic means a lot of kids are getting sick. Right now, some hospitals in Maryland are reporting higher cases and some are at capacity for pediatric beds. Now, there's no vaccine or specific treatment for RSV, so it can cause serious upper and lower respiratory symptoms in infants and young children. Doctors say kids under age 2 are the most at risk because they likely haven't encountered any versions of these viruses before. According to a MedStar infectious disease specialist, we're seeing this rise because many kids just weren't exposed to viruses during the pandemic because of all those things we were doing to limit the spread of COVID.
When you think about children under 2, they're usually in daycare or previously had been in daycare and had been exposed to lots of viruses. When you ask any parent who has children, they'll tell you in a winter season that their child has lots of runny noses. So those are all good things. But if we again think back about the COVID pandemic, we had less children exposed to virus. And so for a lot of these children, this is the first time they're seeing these viruses. And most of the time, the first infection is worse than subsequent infections.
Now, if your child has a prolonged cough or fever or shortness of breath, Dr. Cantula recommends heading out to the ER or urgent care. In terms of prevention, she says hand washing and limiting the time your infant is in crowded places is the best thing that you can do. Now, Good Morning America will have more on this national rise coming up right after Good Morning Maryland.